Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do my January 2021 manga haul. A little bit of a different setup. My dog is sleeping in front of where I normally sit to film my hauls, and I was already set up here because of the tag video I just filmed, so I figured just do it here. I'm going to start off with My Zinukoku by Rumiko Takahashi. These are the new I don't know if they're calling them perfect editions or whatever they're calling them, by Viz. I think these are only like 1.5 volumes, but I could be wrong because they're quite thin. And it would make sense because I think there's 15 volumes in total. It would make more sense to do 1.5 because then it would evenly kind of spread out the series. But this is a slice of life, boarding house sort of romance comedy series that in these really beautiful editions with the French flaps. I'm currently that far into volume 2, and I do have a full first impressions video of the first volume coming out. The art is very Rumiko Takahashi-esque, very distinct. I personally really like it. I know that some people do not because it is an older art style, but My Zinukoku is one that I've wanted to read for a very long time, and I'm very happy that we now have a reprint in English so I can actually enjoy it. Most of this is from a Viz sale that Indigo or Chapters had in December. I'm in Canada, so I buy almost all of my manga from Chapters, and they had a Viz sale, so I was aiming for series that were a bit older from Viz that I've wanted or started collecting a long time ago, and I now want to just finish collecting them. But My Zinukoku was one that I really wanted, and so when the sale came up, I figured I'd throw it in my cart at the same time. So I got Children of the Sea. I bought volume 3, I think, last month or the month before. This is one that I started reading from my local library, but they only had volume 1, 3, and 5, which doesn't help. So I read volume 1 about 3 years ago, and I've wanted to read the rest of it since, so I bought volumes 2, 4, and 5, so now all I need is volume 1, which was out of stock at the time, but I have read volume 2 since purchasing these, yeah, it's really interesting and bizarre about these kids that are like born in the sea. There's a lot of really beautiful nature escapes. The character designs are very interesting. The art itself is just stunning. There is a film, an anime film, that came out recently that looks very beautiful, but it's a very bizarre story. It's kind of like a marine biology, almost human experimentation, but not like super graphic, at least not as far as I've read these first 2 volumes. But it's about the mystery of these children of the sea. But yeah, these covers are just like, that is stunning, and beautiful Viz signatures with the French flaps, and excellent color pages in some of them as well. But yeah, Children of the Sea, I am slowly making my way through it. And there's one nice color page there in the front of volume 2. So I will pick up volume 1, but thankfully, because I did read it a few years ago and I remembered, what I had read of it, I can finish this series and enjoy it, even though I have not yet purchased volume 1, but I will be doing that at some point. We're going to topple over here. Okay. Next up, a couple continuations. These were just pre-orders that came in this month. Volume 6 of Love Me, Love Me Not, Ayosaki Saka. Still continuing to enjoy this shoujo series. It's cute, it's moving forward, and not much else to say on that one. Blood on the Tracks, Shuzo Oshimi, Volume 4. Really beautiful cover. just and then the back cover as well. But I just like the sakura plants or trees in the background with the petals kind of falling. This is a psychological, almost a thriller, I guess, but it's definitely psychological. Series about this boy and his very overprotective, abusive mother, and it's just this young man who's 15 or so, learning about how much abuse he has experienced without knowing. But Shuzo Oshimi does a very good job of depicting psychological stress and anxiety through his art, and this volume was excellent, and no exception to how great the series has been thus far. Next up, the final volume 2 of Aka 13 Territory Inspection Department PS. This is the spin-off series by Natsume Ono of the original 6-volume Aka series that I quite enjoy. It's a political drama, slice of life sort of situation. But this basically just wrapped up the story in that we follow all the side characters in Aka PS. So this one took place during as well as after the original story, whereas the first volume of this took place prior to the events of the original series. But yeah, you do absolutely have to read the original before reading these. You're not going to understand anything about these if you have not read the original. So just a warning there. Next up, I have been picking up the rest of Kimi ni Todoroki. So I just have a bunch of random volumes. I am only missing 2 volumes that were out of stock when I purchased all these. So I'm only now missing volumes 9 and 18, and then I will have all 30 volumes of Kimi ni Todoroki. I love this cover. Look at the pretty background. But Kimi ni Todoroki, I bought volume 6 back when I was like maybe 14 or 15 because I really liked that volume. I used to buy manga based on what was happening in the volume itself. And so I would be, I'd read them from my library at the time, and then the volumes that took place or had scenes in them or storylines that I really enjoyed, I would go out and purchase that specific volume, and I would reread that 1 volume or 2 volumes, depending on, how good the series overall is, over and over and over. So I read volume 6 of Kimi ni Todoroki probably, 7 or 8 times. And then as the series was coming out, thankfully, it's one of the only things that my current local library actually collects in terms of ongoing manga. Now finished, but I was lucky that my library was actually, providing Kimi ni Todoroki, and so I was able to finish reading the whole series, but it's one that I have wanted to own myself and reread for a very long time. It's a very standard shoujo series about, quiet girl meets super popular boy, but he's very sweet. Kazehaya is adorable. He's not an asshole in any form. Usually the popular guy does have a caveat to his behavior or his popularity or whatever. He is legitimately gorgeous and nice and cute. But my favorite thing about Kimi ni Todoroki are the side couples, the friends. Like Chizuru and Ryu and Ayane and oh god, what's his name? I don't remember his name. There's another boy as well whose name is escaping me in this moment. But yeah, so I'm only missing 2 volumes now, which hopefully I will be able to. I'm hoping they're just out of stock and they'll come back in stock, and hopefully I'll be able to grab them at some point. But yeah, missing volumes 9 and 18. But other than that, I have everything now. Super stoked. The other one that I was trying to finish, which unfortunately, super annoying, the Inuyasha Vizbigs. I owned volumes 1 to 11. I binge read all the way through to the end of volume 11, knowing that I had ordered the rest of the series. And then lo and behold, the only one that they canceled, because I guess it was out of stock in the warehouse, was volume 12. So now I can't read anymore because I have volumes 13 through 18, which is the final, chunk of the series. But because I'm on volume 12 and I am missing it, super annoying, because I was really in the mood for Inuyasha. It was really putting me in a great mood because I've read Inuyasha in those older editions from my library in the past. From the city I used to live in. The city I live in now doesn't have them. And I've watched the anime more times than I can count, because it was one of the things as a child that got me into anime in the first place. As with many other people, Inuyasha was a gateway to my obsession. And so it's a familiar tale. It's something I really love. The characters feel like this whole story just feels like a big hug to me. It feels like old friends, and it's really lovely. And I am super still bitter that my volume 12 is not in my possession. I think it was just out of stock, because I'm pretty sure it's back in stock now, and it was really annoying because they usually don't cancel orders that quickly. They usually wait until they can guarantee that they don't have it before they cancel them. But it was just really annoying, and now I gotta buy it next time it's on sale. So then another older series that I have read from my library as well is Bocarano R's. This is by Mohiro Kito. This is a mecha children fighting to the death in giant robots to save the world story. Brutal story. And I know that volume 3 is extremely out of print and super expensive, but again, it's a series I've already read. I know what happens, and therefore, even though I'm missing a volume, I can reread this series, Sans Volume 3, and just, enjoy it for what it is. And one day, hopefully it will either get reprinted, or I will come across it for a decent price at a used bookstore or something, and then I will own all of it. But I'm patient, and I can just skip volume 3 until the day that I have it in my possession, if that day should come. But this one, I remember it making me cry, because it goes into the backstory of all of these children. And it just basically, I think each volume follows one kid, if I remember correctly, and, their turn up to pilot the monster. And Mohiro Kito does a lot of sci-fi stories like this where there's children that die. That's just a thing that he does. But clearly he does it well, and so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But these are beautiful Viz signature matte finish, gorgeous releases as well. So super stoked to have that. And the final thing that I got this month was the second and final omnibus of Ping Pong by Taiyo Matsumoto. Taiyo Matsumoto, if you don't already know, is one of my favorite mangaka. I have read this already. A full series review is coming in, I believe, March is where I'm scheduling my videos at this point. Closer to mid-end of March, so be a bit of a wait for this review, but it will be coming, so don't worry about that. Really loved it. Beautiful releases, like a rubbery matte finish, and then this part is glossy. It's just Taiyo Matsumoto's art is fantastic. The story is amazing about youth just coming to terms with being the best at something and then realizing you're not actually the best at it. That if you don't actually work hard, somebody who doesn't have the natural talent that you may have can work harder and potentially be better at any sport or activity than you. And so it's, about hard work, perseverance, resiliency of young people, and, the perceptions and, hopes and dreams of the older people, the coaches, putting their own, feelings and thoughts and stuff on these youth that are trying to play ping pong and be successful at it. But yeah, that is everything I got this month. I'm pretty happy with that. My hope with that Viz sale was to complete Kimi no Todoroki and Children of the Whales and Inuyasha. Unfortunately, I'm missing 1 or 2 volumes of all of those because they were out of stock. But at the time that I made the order, but you know, it'll happen eventually, so that's fine. But yeah, really enjoyed. I've read a lot of what I purchased already in the past, or I read it when I bought it, so yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching.